What do you think of this? The parents of 4 Montgomery County children under arrest for failing to register their homeschooled children with the school district 7 years ago. How is this allowed to happen? Who should be held accountable? Fact finder Marcia Natal went and got some answers.
Is it fair to say that these 4 children fell through the cracks?
Well, from what I can gather, it sounds like there was education going on, so I don't know if they really slipped through the cracks. They didn't fulfill their legal responsibilities to file with the school district to be homeschooled.
Dr. Richard Hoffman, superintendent of Fonda-Fultonville schools, didn't become aware until mid-December that 4 children ages 8 to 14 who lived in the town of Glen for 7 years were never registered with the district, but were being homeschooled by their parents, Richard and Margie Cressy.
How did you not know that these 4 kids were not being educated or schooled?
Well, school districts, as a rule, do not have detectives out to see who is and who isn't. We count on parents to follow the law, which is that all students between the ages of 6 and 16 need to be educated.
That's enough of this. We're going to play more of the newscast and break it down later. You know, in Germany, they arrest you for homeschooling. 2 years ago, the state of California declared in court, it later got overturned, that the state owns your children. It actually said it in the ruling, and that homeschooling was not allowed. The state believes it owns your children. The state believes it owns your children. In the land of the free, in the home of the brave, I want that to sink in to everyone, that from Illinois to California, from Connecticut to Florida, they are persecuting homeschoolers. I have seen countless news reports where CPS gets called on families, even well-to-do families. They persecute the poor even more because neighbors will see their children out playing in the backyard or front yard during their recess time as homeschoolers, and the dumbed-down public believes it's illegal and calls the police, and the CPS comes. It's all color of law. It's all fraud. I've pulled up the code in New York. It's one of the more strict, unconstitutional states on homeschooling, but still, it is a civil matter. And they never attempted to contact the parents. They made an example out of them and came and arrested them. And they have the police on there talking about what evil criminals they are. You move into a town, you don't register your children for homeschooling, and the police come. How do they arrest you for not giving your children inoculations when there's no law to take inoculations in any state? New Jersey's trying to pass a law. They use contract fraud. They use color of law. They use racketeering. The school kicks you out for not taking the shots under policy, never telling you there's a waiver by law, and then triggers truancy laws, and that's how they arrest you. Then the media nationwide engages in a hoax. So does Canada and England. They have the same system of fraud. It's all globally standardized. And they tell you it's the law that you've got to have the shots, but then arrest you for the truancy. And the average parent is so unknowledgeable, so jellyfish-like, that they end up going to jail. Ladies and gentlemen, when I saw this news report last night, I became beside myself in anger and rage. I am sick with disgust, and my mind raced last night and this morning with all the different facets and angles of this and how it ties into the naked body scanners and how the body scanners going in nationwide that the UK government admits violates child porn laws are a total act of submission, an act of domination in the religion of tyranny. The government is a cult. It wants to force you to be part of its cult. And I'm going to break this down and explain it today. Then Alan Watts joining us for 2 hours. We're going to have completely open phones in the second hour today on all the news I'm about to cover. We shall return. It is Wednesday, 6th day of January 2010. We're going to be live here for the next 3 hours and 52 minutes. Alan Watt of Cutting Through the Matrix to break down the conditioning mind control grid will be joining us in the third and fourth hour today. We will also have open phones with our guest. I will have open phones in the next hour. I have developed some ideas for the boycott of the government, of the airlines with their naked body scanners, and what this is really all about, how it is meant to condition us and sell us to be humiliated, to be a broken nation, to fully submit to their tyranny. Of course, you know about all the countless confirmed reports of TSA groping good-looking women, strip-searching people in public, beating people up, killing people, letting babies that are being flown inside the United States, inner country, not from outside the country, for emergency heart surgery, dying as the family begs for hour after hour. Just a hellish system is being set up. The economy is being converted to a complete police state grid where the only jobs you'll be able to get out of college or high school are running the grid. More than half of the public is now working for the government or on welfare. The criminal government is now sharpening this mass of people into a weapon to rob those of us that are not dependent parasites. This is social engineering. This is the scientific dictatorship. Now, there's many different facets to the war on individuality, the war on the family, war on self-sufficiency and independence. And there is a massive war being waged against homeschooling in this country. Countless dramas and TV shows and cop shows and newspaper reports in fiction and nonfiction cast homeschoolers as abusing, racist, dumbed-down scum. When all the statistics, all the numbers, the government's own numbers they like to hide, show that the smartest, most intelligent, highest test-scoring people in America are homeschoolers. They win more than 90% of national and international spelling bees. They win the vast majority of geography bees. They win the vast majority of science, open public science fair, county fair, city fair, science fair competitions. They are coveted by corporations. I have homeschoolers in my family, cousins and people, who out of college are snatched up and put in executive grooming positions with Fortune 10 companies. My father was sent by a corporation he was consulting for to the Four Seasons in Austin to hear a top consultant, two consultants, and he openly 3 years ago, my dad called me from the foyer of the meeting, and he said, I can't believe it. This guy's talking about the New World Order, world government, the social engineering, how the elite by design wanted to dumb everybody down to make them more manageable, but now the elite's job is to actually find homeschoolers and other intelligent people to hire for corporate structures because they know how to critically think, because the elite have done too good a job ruining the population. So now the elite are headhunting up and getting all the homeschoolers on their team once they're out of college. And the evidence goes on and on and on. In fact, let's get Charlotte Iserby on next week about this. Charlotte Iserby, number 2, Department of Education, head of policy. Number 2 in the entire Department of Education, 1981 to 1985 under Ronald Reagan. Her father, Skull and Bones, Bohemian Grove, powerful, blue blood, East Coast family. She decided to blow the whistle. This was when Reagan was in. And, of course, Reagan was just reading off cue cards and no idea what was going on. She was in meetings, and she published these secret documents where they openly said, we're going to destroy the language where children can't even talk. We're going to break down the family entirely. We are going to program everyone. We're going to have all curriculum done in the next 2 decades on computers, so the government has it in databases. We are going to destroy the family for the New World Order. And she published the book, Deliberate Dumbing Down, the size of a phone book. We sell it at Infowars.com. And more than half of the giant textbook she wrote is government documents, scans of them. I challenge you to read it and to not throw up. I physically got nauseous last night. I physically had to control myself to not pound holes in the walls at the office this morning. Because at an instinctive, primitive, natural, healthy level, I know what slavery is, and that's what we're going into. Real, hardcore slavery. Social engineering, run by Madison Avenue, run by the think tanks, run by the psychiatrists and psychologists. They know what they're doing.